I don't know, this whole silhouette challenge, I'm not feeling it. Maybe it's the fact that there's darkness there. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not seeing much of a face there. But I don't know. Personally, according to me, I feel as though the silhouette challenge was like a drop down from the busset challenge. But let's do the intro first so that I can explain it, because I don't know, like this might take a while to explain.
Get ready for the battle of the sexes.
I feel as though it could be the whole 2D nature of everything, because in a sense it's like they are fairly good looking women. Some of them are very nice and curvy, but there's this whole thing about it just being in the dark and seeing things in 2D that just doesn't get to me. Like, I like looking at booty in 3D so that I can see its curvature. I can see the cellulite. I can see it bounce up and down, not as some figurative image, but as the booty itself. This whole silhouette challenge of just having stuff in black and red, not that I have a problem with black or anything, hell, I like black. It's just the whole 2D nature of it that just doesn't get to me. Like, it doesn't feel as real. Like, a babe can get her friend who's roughly about the same size, who clearly knows how to shake it and probably has a little bit more booty in the moves, and then have them go and step in for them. Because it's under a red light and, quote unquote, it's a silhouette. So why wouldn't you do that? Plus, when you look at it, it's a little bit easier to fake having a booty. Like, yes, I know, Busset Challenge made it look like a lot of women have a lot of booty. And the truth of the matter is, it was just the positioning, they were in a squat position, so their booty was popping. So it made sense. And that one, I could come in and discredit booty. But now with the silhouette challenge, it's like, shorties are gonna do this, and it's gonna be hard even for me to make sure that it's true, because it's in like silhouette form and they're making it look like it's in side view. Like, at this point, I'm just about to call it quits on some of these challenges, because I don't really feel like this was that good of a challenge. It didn't arouse me in a sense. But anyways, much as I would like to discredit this challenge entirely, people actually liked it. I don't get how people liked it, but people liked it. So I do have to accept that it at least did satisfy some people. And we should probably satisfy some people by starting the podcast. So, in typical fashion, welcome to Break Time on West Side, your number one break time podcast, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya. The man on the mic is a man who did not like the silhouette challenge. He is a man with a sickness for the thickness, so he doesn't go skinny dipping. It is none other than your tall, dark, and mildly handsome man, Sir Denver B. The show is Battle of the Sexes, your weekly love, sex, and relationships show, where we get to make some statements on something and then someone comes back, calls us highly uninformed and terribly misogynistic. Now, back to the silhouette challenge for a bit. There was this statement that I heard recently from someone who went and wrote online that the silhouette challenge is for ugly babes with no bodies, because in a sense, they get to cover their faces and they get to contort their body in any manner of ways that would make them look good. And to be completely honest, I'm finding it hard to actually disagree with that. Because in a sense, when you look at the fact that they're using the silhouette / shadow / darkness to accentuate themselves, it would make sense, because this person did go on to further state that if they did have the bodies, then they would take pictures with clothing that would accentuate their bodies instead of posing with little to no clothing, mostly none, for the world to see them dance and show whatever moves they've got. And there's also some truth there, because, well, there's quite a number of babes that did the silhouette challenge butt naked. And in a sense, when you look at it, that seems like they're doing a little too much, but well, it's their bodies. I really can't say anything. The only thing that I can really say is the engineers at TikTok that know very well how to remove those filters are probably gonna have a field day taking some of those videos and using them to make an OnlyFans, because money. But anyways, we should kind of move it on. But before we move on to the main topic of this episode, there was this interesting post that I saw online. It made rounds last week, and I think it was a very interesting dilemma that we should discuss. And it's a message that someone sent to someone else, which seemed pretty interesting. Now, the message reads, so a colleague used his medical insurance cover to have his side chick treated at a hospital. He then used his wife's name for the side chick. The side chick unfortunately passed away and the death certificate was issued in his wife's name. How do we handle this case? Now, to be completely honest, I think that there's any number of ways that you can do this, because it's a very interesting dilemma, because in a sense it's like your wife is dead, but at the same time your wife is alive. So if I was to hypothetically use this situation to some level of my benefit, good or bad, not gonna judge on either, let's say I decide to go back to the streets and go hoeing around. Technically, I'm a single man, because till death do us part. Just saying. And when you look at it, in a sense, it does actually stand to benefit you, because all you have to do is have your ring on, have the death certificate in like your jacket pocket, go to a club, act all sad and start crying. Some woman's motherly instincts are going to kick in. She's gonna come and ask you what's wrong. You say that your wife has passed away and you show them the death certificate. She feels for you, she sits down with you and engages you in a bit of a talk, and then you end up taking them back home because, well, my emotions got the best of me. And just like that, you got yourself some very free, very single pussy. Just saying. That's one way that you can actually play it. Now, another way, which is even worse, is you could go and, I don't want to say empty your woman's bank accounts, but have all of the family assets transferred in your name, because technically she's dead and you have an original certificate. So you can go and claim whatever money, whatever assets you guys had as a family and have it all in your name, because you're technically the next of kin, or at least that's how it's supposed to be. The issue with that is sometimes women, actually a lot of times you'll find women will set their next of kin as a sibling or their mother or their father or maybe the kids. But either way, there's a good chance that you could benefit from that. On top of that, you can go and get yourself another wife with a babe that you probably love, which isn't your wife, and you can have an amazing church wedding with everyone coming in and you celebrating it and your friends giving you gifts and all because you know for a fact that you are a single man. And technically, according to the church, till death do us part. These are very interesting scenarios to be in, actually, now that I think about it. But I think I'd say the easiest one that you can go and claim on is life insurance. Because if your wife did have a life insurance cover, you can just go and claim that she's dead. Once you produce an original death certificate, I think that should get the paperwork rolling. Although I know for most businesses, whether banks or the insurances, they can actually do some of the investigation. And if they find that your wife is actually alive, they might just sue you for fraud and you could end up going to prison. So that being said, the easiest option that I can probably diagnose for you is just go back to the streets, go get yourself another side chick or get yourself another babe, and well, you know, till death do us part. So technically, you won't have a wife, so you can just have a girlfriend. Just saying. But anyways, we should move it on to the main topic. But before we get to that though,
I know you're dying to continue the podcast you're currently listening to, but we have to interrupt your scheduled programming to bring you Sound Nation. We delve into music ranging from hip-hop to rumba, rock to bongo, and much more. We shall review new albums as well as fresh singles whilst paying homage to the sounds of the past. Find our episodes on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other podcast streaming platforms.
Alright, so moving it on. Last week I was having a discussion with a friend who also happens to be a pretty big fan of this podcast. Mad shout out to you, Zena. And we were having a discussion on sex. And at some point while we were busy talking, I was asked a very interesting question. Now it sounds very simple and it just went like this. Why do you have sex? Like, it's a very, very simple question. And it seems like it has a simple answer. You know, you can say because I want to, because pussy rules the world, blah, 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 and all of that. And that wouldn't seem like such a bad answer, but you kind of have to ask yourself, why do you really have sex? And this was something that also did kind of get to me when I was recording for Tweet Street, and I was busy talking about the people that will have sex multiple times in a day. They'll do it with multiple people in a day, and it's like they just keep on going. And considering that I haven't done a sex-based podcast in a very, very long time, I figured why not come in and actually ask the question, which is, why do you really, really have sex? And obviously, like I said, people will have all sorts of different reasons. Now, obviously, if you're a married couple and you're trying to have kids, then, well, you're banging to try and have kids. Or if you're the type of person that just wants to get a kid or wants to have a kid with a certain person, then obviously you will have sex to have a kid. That's a little bit simpler. When you look at the people that'll go in for the pleasure of it, then it's like, you know what, I like banging my girlfriend because there's pleasure involved. If you're married, I like banging because, it's a good release, it's a stress reliever. For some people, it's Valium. Like I said last week, it's 10 times more effective than Valium. So, in a sense, you can be banging because you want to sleep better. When you look at the other people that will do it for other reasons that go beyond that, then that's when it starts getting a little bit more complicated. Because there's some people that will do it for the sake of clout, and they want to make it known that, they bagged this and this babe, they wanted to hit this and this guy. And the fact that they did that kind of boosts them in a sense, because it's like they've banged some of the most famous people, so they probably have some really good dick or some really good vagina or something of that sort. Because like you take a look at Lori Harvey, if she was in all of these relationships for the bang, then technically she has more notoriety in the game because she gets to bang some really high class people. So that being said, like that would make sense. Like that would make some level of sense. It's definitely a nonsensical reason, but you can see the sense in why it is someone would go and bang certain levels of people. And when you look at it, there's a lot of people that do the banging for that kind of clout. There's a lot of people that will go and bang a certain fine babe because of the clout. And to be honest, I think most guys and a lot of guys that bang a lot and a lot of babes that bang a lot will do it for the sake of their own ego. Because it's not like they're really telling a lot of people that, oh, I bang all these people, or oh, I was sleeping with so and so. But for them, it's like they do it because it makes them feel better, because the ability to go and get someone to open up their legs, whether male or female, and let you stick it into them or have them stick it into you, depending on gender and preference and so on. And in a sense, you feel better because it's like, I have a body count of this much, or I got so and so to bang me, or I've been banging and I'm supposedly a much better person because I can bang more people. And in a sense, you find that there's a lot of people that actually do that. And in reality, it's not like they're gaining that much from it. It's not like the sex even feels that good anymore. Because when you kind of look at it, it's not like the feeling of sex is gonna be the same great feeling if you do it more and more. The more you do it, the more your body gets used to that dopamine rush, and as a result, the less good you feel over time. At some point, even getting the nut out might even feel like it's not as easy as it used to be earlier on. It's not a simple stick it in and in 15 seconds it's out. So you kind of have to start questioning why it is that you do it, because in a sense, I think for a lot of us, it does a little bit more harm than good, because some people are banging not necessarily because they want to, but because to some degree, because someone wants to bang them, or because they have an opportunity, it's like they have to do it. And this is something that I see happen a lot with guys, because there's this thing that guys have been conditioned with for a very, very long time. And I don't know whether I can blame peer pressure or just society's upbringing and everything, but it's this notion where guys always want sex, and whenever guys get an opportunity to have sex, they will have sex. And to be completely honest, I think it's utterly wrong. I think it's a weird belief that people have, because they see a certain number of people banging a certain number of women, and they automatically jump to this conclusion to kind of justify that statement. And the truth of the matter is, it's not like we always want to bang. There's times when we actually want to take a break from it. There's times when we want to just cool off and be like, you know what, I'm interested in something more than just the sex. So when you look at a situation where someone has the opportunity to bang, where you find a babe wants to give it to a certain guy, or a babe is really, really pushing to be with a certain guy just for the bang, it's very common to hear other guys, your friends, people around you, hell, even other babes telling you to go and get that opportunity, to go and take advantage of it, to go and bang the babe. You might not even be interested in it, but they'll be like, bro, you have a chance. Oh, if I had that chance, I do this. If I had that chance, I do that. So it's like they're making it seem as though you have to do it. And the truth of the matter is, you don't really need to. it's not entirely up to you. It's your dick. The sex is gonna be two ways, not unless if she rapes you. So if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to. But we're always made to look as though we should do it because we've been given a chance, mostly because we're hunters. And it's like when a lion is trying to get the food, when a lion is trying to stalk the prey and eat it, and the prey pretty much comes towards the lion, it's like you have to pounce and eat it. Like, that's kind of how we've always been conditioned to kind of look at it. And truth be told, a lot of guys and even some girls do succumb because of it. Hell, even I'm a victim of it. Because, like, take for example, a couple of years back when I was still in campus, there was this point in time where I was chasing these two babes. Now I'll call them girl A and girl B, or babe A and babe B, whichever one I'll use. And the thing was, with babe A or girl A, she was this nice slim thick babe, and she had a booty that used to jiggle, so of course it definitely caught my eye. And well, as usual, I have a sickness for the thickness, so I was chasing that. Now on the other hand, there was girl B, and girl B was a very, very fine babe. She didn't have like a super thick ass or anything, but she was nicely curvy, she was pretty nice and slim, and she had a very pretty face. And the thing about that was, a lot of people really, really liked her. Like, a lot of people used to kind of talk about her and were like, oh, this new babe just joined and she's super fine and everything. But the thing is, this babe was really, really into me. She really had a thing for me, but I didn't really give that much of a damn. So when people noticed that she'd sometimes spend a lot of time with me, guys were like, oh bro, like, she seems to want you and you should probably hit that. But I was like, I don't really feel that. Like, I ain't really feeling like hitting her. Like, by all means, she's an attractive babe and all, and I can see why it is you people would like her, because she's attractive, but I'm not really feeling the babe. And for some time, like, I was able to like ward off everything that guys used to say, in the sense of, oh, you should hit. And for me, I was focusing on the other babe, of course. Like, I was kind of getting things going. So at some point, I kind of looked at it, because the other babe was a little bit of a wild child. She was a bit on and off, so we'd talk sometimes, we wouldn't talk for others. And I noticed this other babe, and this babe was really, really pushing to be with me. And I sort of sat down, just looked at it. I was like, you know what? If this babe wants to, and these guys clearly want to, they'd love the chance, then why the hell not? Plus, at the same time, the same guys that were saying that I should go and hit that, and there's a whole barrage of guys that are busy thirsting over her, was still saying, you know what, you should hit that. They were still saying, you know what, if I got a chance with that babe, I definitely hit. I would hit it with no compromise. So I looked at it, I was like, you know what, shorty wants to, and she's still curving all of these guys all the live long day, I might as well do something about it. And just like that, I went, I hit it, we didn't last too long, and things kind of broke off. So at the end of it, even after I had done all of that, I still didn't feel as satisfied, because when I sat down and I really thought about it, I wasn't really going for this babe for me, I was doing it for the squad. I wasn't hitting it for me, I was hitting it because there was a bunch of other people that wished that they would do it, and I had the opportunity, so I had to do something about it. And in a sense, it's kind of the reasoning that gets a lot of people to sleep with a lot of people they may or may not really, really want to bang. So it's not even about the pleasure, it's not about the allure of a good experience with someone else, it's about the ego and the fact that you've been peer pressured, whether directly or indirectly, into getting it done. So in a sense, it could also be that you're doing it for the clout. And when you really, really think about sex as an experience, do you really just want to do it for the clout? Do you really just want to do it to please other people? Like, shouldn't there be more to it? Shouldn't there be more substance to the entire experience? Maybe you should start asking yourself some of these questions before you go and do it, or as you're busy doing it. Because in reality, that might seem like it's fun for you, it might seem like a good thing, but it might just be hurting you, and it might be preventing you from recognizing that there could be other issues internally that you're not dealing with. So in a sense, I think you should probably start having sex because you genuinely want to, not because you have to due to other people or some other force busy pushing you, not because you think that you might seem a little bit better to society, and most definitely not because you are trying to avoid the idea that you, a guy or a girl, have been going through a dry spell for a certain amount of time. Personally, I think that even though you do it for all of that, even though you did it for all of that, because technically it's your choice, make sure you do it because you want to and not because you have to. Just keep that in mind. But anyways, it is your body and you get to do entirely you, so I want to know your thoughts on this. Why exactly do you have sex? Do you do it because you want to, or do you do it because you feel like you have to? The DMs are open. On Instagram, it is at Breaktime on Westside. On Facebook, it is also at Breaktime on Westside. And on Twitter, you can slide into my personal DMs at Bagaka the D. Thank you so much for listening all the way till the end. And if you are listening on Castbox, be sure to drop your comments on the app and I will attend to them accordingly. And I will catch you guys on the next break. Take care.